We say Hiraes. Yeah, but it's a made up word, so never mind. I mean, like, we're doing great. I mean, it's the very first time that we can play on French soil, so we're really excited about that. And so far, everyone is really happy to see us here, and so we are excited and happy. And we sleep in a castle, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it's basically melodic death metal influenced by many, many different bands, I have to say. So when it comes to influences in our bands, there is from hard rock to black metal, but I would say we're playing melodic death metal that is very much influenced by bands like Insomnium, this whole Scandinavian melancholic metal scene. And that is what we're basically playing. But we also have, of course, our own touch in our music. We're not just orienting on other bands, and that is what we're doing. It was during the pandemic. The pandemic was such a difficult time for everyone, and somewhere before the pandemic, we decided to disband Dawn of Disease, and decided to found a new band. And the four musicians of Dawn of Disease were thinking about founding a new band. And I had the idea to ask Britta. We already knew her because we played some shows with Cripper together, and were always fascinating from a live performance, from the show, being on stage. It was that time when I shot an email to her and just asked her, would you be interested in a musical project? Then she said okay, and afterwards it all came into being. We had the first rehearsal. Maybe you can add something?
Yeah, it's all invented. It's all a lie. They held me captive for 2 years. No. It's all exactly like Lucas described, and I mean, the pandemic was such a weird time, and for me, and I think for us, like, writing that first album, Solitary, during that time was just like shortening the time confined to a home in a very pleasant way. And we were very happy that we could be creative during that time, that we had something to hold on to. I don't know who really. I think it was Oliver who came up with the word, right? We were just like talking back and forth, like how to call our band name, and then I think Oliver came up with the word. I think Hiraes is how it's somehow pronounced in Welsh, and it's a word that describes longing for something, and we felt this is a good word to describe something that you are craving for in the future. So it's a forward-driven word, but it also has a melancholic touch to it. And so like we just changed the way it's spelled a little bit to not make it even more complicated. I think we're really happy with that band name up until today. So it's, you Google it, and then Google always says, "Did you mean horses?" But yeah. That's a difficult question. I would answer it in two parts. From the creative aspect, it was a gift that we could do that, and also I was very curious to just like come into the flow and let out what's inside, to then maybe a year or 2 years after that look back onto the album and just like see how the pandemic and being solitary has impacted the songwriting, and I think it did, looking back at this. There is a guy outside wearing interesting pants.
Okay. You can put some advertisement there.
We wrote the album Solitary during the pandemic, and as I said before, we're really grateful that we were able to create art in that time. And on a creative note, I was really curious to see how the pandemic and being being solitary would impact the songwriting process. So and looking back, I think it did influence that a lot, and it sparked for many lyrics that I probably would not have written had it been a different time. But then, of course, the album was ready and we were a new band and we were going back and forth with our label, like, should we release it now or should we sit on it until this is over? But, being in the pandemic, we didn't know how long it will last. So, like 5 years, 10 years, can we ever go back on stage? Who knows? So we decided to release it. And then we played a few streaming festivals, which was weird to play the very first gig without an audience. But I think for us as a band, it was a good situation. We bonded through that a lot. I don't know. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was really a great experience to play the songs for the first time. But the very, very, very first show we played was indeed a streaming festival, and there was no audience in front of us, and it was just streamed on the internet, and that was really a crazy experience. But afterwards, we had the possibility to play live in front of people sitting some 50 meters away, and support for show for Legion of the Damned, for example. It was it was really great indeed, with some funny moments in there. But I'm the main songwriter, and
not in terms of riffs, but in terms of arrangement, in terms of length of parts, and sometimes like sometimes there are like a few notes or something that I asked Lucas, like, do you feel good about changing them a little bit, because I feel like it's like, I don't know, fits the song better in this way. But I would say that I shape the songs in terms of drive when it comes to the phrasing, like where do I put the lyrics and everything like that. But like instruments is not my department, so to speak. Concept, I would say it's somewhere between collection and concept, because I think the fact that we write the songs in a very short time, both for Solitary and for Dormant, it's more like a footprint or like a picture of a short time span. So it's a concept of the band and what the band experienced in that time and what the band members experienced in that time. And so it's very easy to put one label, being Dormant, onto it, because the songwriting process did not stretch out over 3 years or something like that. So I would say it's somewhere in the middle, but not a concept written as a storyboard beforehand. I do have a routine before the show, but like I teach scream and growl for a living. So I scream all day, every day, with many students from... Yeah, specifically screaming and growling only. Like the harsh vocals is my profession. And so I cannot determine the difference between women and men or all other genders. But I would say that the number one thing that if a person is not able to produce a sound, the best advice is that I have, like, don't be afraid, go for it. Because like sometimes we hit the brakes and the gas pedal at the same time, and that makes things very uncomfortable in the throat. So if you just feel like you're going for a sound that goes across the hills, that would be my advice. Just don't hold back and try out and like mess around and find out. So that's my advice.
We will be on tour with Dark Tranquility, Moonspell and Wolfheart, and this is like a dream come true for us because such genre-defining bands, and being on tour with them for 1 month will be so awesome. And we will tour Europe 1 month from I don't know, like end of October until end of November or beginning of December. And these are our tour plans. And afterwards, of course, we will also have some shows, but this is the main project we're aiming at the moment. And we hope to have a great time there. Yeah, of course, especially Dark Tranquility, so awesome to be on tour with them. We're already working on new material and creating some demo tracks, and we hope that in the not so far future we will be able to put another album out. But of course, it's always very much of work also on emotional basis, and will take a tiny bit of time, but I'm pretty optimistic that it will come out in the not so far future. It's simply awesome. There's so nice food here, so great beer too. And all people are kind, and this is the first time that we play in France, and was such a warm welcome. And
I really like this festival so far because it hits a special nerve for me. There are these festivals that are almost too well organized, where you feel like you're kind of like guided through the whole time and everything is in order, and I don't know, like where like kind of the metal mentality is like not really there. And there are a few festivals that just hit the right spot where you still feel like you're a metal band and you can just like fool around a little bit, but still on a technical standpoint everything is working. And so far this festival is doing that for me. Plus everyone is so nice and proactive. No, really, it's awesome. Like it's really cool. No, after our show, definitely. Yes, I can't wait to see Dust Bowl tonight. Like, I'm such a huge fan of them. Like, they're gonna take the whole place apart.
yeah, and Christian, our bass player, and me, we already have been here yesterday. So we arrived late in the evening, and okay, it was night. And we were just walking around here and seeing Crossplane, for example. And it's just simply awesome, and see Heathen will be so great. Listening recommendations, there are so many at the moment. I'm listening very much to the first album of Quellertag. I'm listening to to the current album of Rotting Christ. Such a great record. I'm still listening to the last Insomnium album. So awesome. And yes, there's some old school favorites from Turbo Negro, but what I'm always a fan of is a local band from my area that is also internationally known. It's called Long Distance Calling. They're doing some post-rock, and it's really, I love this band, but I think...
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I went to Wacken for one day this year, and I saw Behemoth, and they, like, I don't know, like, I just came back to this band, and I'm, like, obsessed with them at the moment, like, totally, which is kind of weird, because on my gym playlist, like, Spotify is really confused with me, because I mix Billie Eilish and Behemoth in the same playlist.
Retrouvez toute l'actu du rock et du métal, l'agenda culturel, les dates de concerts, les sorties d'albums, les live reports, les chroniques sur ultrarock.fr.